I really like these new MacBook Airs with M3, much more so than I would have thought. Even in 2024, 2 years after this chassis was released, these laptops, they still look great, they feel premium, and they are very portable. Plus, with this new processor, they are incredibly fast, they have long battery life, and they continue to have no fan noise. But what Apple are doing here is absolutely abhorrent, including only 8GB of non-upgradable memory and 256GB of storage in their base models is incredibly misleading, especially given that these laptops cost over $1,000. Think about all those non-tech savvy buyers who just walk into a store and walk out with one of these models, not knowing the limitations that lie ahead. So today, I'm going to give you my take on everything that is new in this year's models, and at the end, I'll provide clear guidance as to what you should buy, and hint, it may not be this laptop. Let's get into it. The biggest change with this year's Airs is the bump to the M3 processor. In Geekbench, which tests a variety of common performance tasks, it is about 20% faster than the older MacBook Air with M2, and it is about 35% faster than the M1 version. The single-core jumps are especially nice to see, given that this plays a big role in how snappy your laptop will actually feel. Now, Geekbench just runs a lot of short-running tasks, so to test how this laptop performs under a continuous high-performance load, we ran Cinebench 2024. The M3 is again around 20% faster than the prior models, and it's a whopping 60% faster than the original M1s from 2020. If you are considering a Windows alternative, the M3 Airs are significantly faster in single-core than Intel's latest Core Ultra 7 processor, and they're around the same in multi-core. Those Intel laptops, though, draw a lot more power to achieve these scores. As a result, they produce fan noise to keep their processors cool. The Airs, on the other hand, are completely fanless and dead quiet. And speaking of the latest Intel laptops, you've probably heard that their integrated graphics is excellent. Well, the graphics in these MacBook Airs with M3 are even better. Anyway, this is a great result for Apple and really makes these laptops incredibly fast. Plenty of performance for students, those doing office work, browsing the web, and even some professional software development. But do not expect one of these MacBook Airs to be something that they are not. Even speccing them up with more memory and storage will not make them a viable alternative to a MacBook Pro. That's for anyone doing heavy-duty software development, professional video or photo editing, 3D work, or that sort of thing. These Airs have less CPU performance cores than the Pros. They therefore deliver poorer multi-core performance. Also, in long-running performance tasks, as I said, the Airs do not have fans to cool the processor. This means the Air's performance drops a bit to keep the laptop cool. This results in the MacBook Pro 14s pulling ahead by 50% or more in multi-core performance. On top of this, they have slower access to memory than the Pros do, they have less GPU cores, and they max out at 24GB of soldered memory. To test this out in a real-world scenario, I tried editing our recent Alienware video on my new MacBook Air 15 with 16GB of memory. This consists of multiple H.264 layers of 4K 8-bit footage with some effects and color grades. I'd call this a moderately complex video. There was no 12-bit color or anything like that. It was not a good experience. Frames dropped while playing the video back on the timeline, even at half resolution. Rendering the video was significantly slower than on my MacBook Pros, especially for the 13-inch version, by the way, which I tried too. It likely has even more thermal constraints than the larger 15-inch one. Anyway, yes, you can edit a professional video on these Airs. I did, but is it ideal? Heck no. Let's touch on battery life. Even though the battery sizes have not changed, because these processors are more efficient, battery life has improved a little. Note though, the MacBook Air 15 does have a larger battery than the 13. These new M3 models now support the faster Wi-Fi 6E, not just Wi-Fi 6. However, it's a disappointment given that Wi-Fi 7 is now readily available. These new Airs now also support 2 external monitors, but this is only if the laptop's lid is closed. The darker midnight colored model now has a much more fingerprint resistant coating. Even though some folks are saying that this coating isn't that good, I disagree. We found our new MacBook Air 15 much more fingerprint resistant than our older M2 version. Finally, there are now stock configurations with 16GB of memory and 512GB of storage. This is a win. You used to have to order the important 16GB of memory upgrade as a custom configuration from Apple themselves. And they don't discount their laptops, only their retailers do. So you should now be able to find 16GB models on sale for around $200 off at retailers. Do check our website frequently as we post all the best deals over there. Alright, so here's where these changes leave us. These new MacBook Airs with M3 continue to be excellent premium laptops in 2024. They offer plenty of power for those using them for casual use and even for short-running performance tasks. They are lightweight, in particular the 15-inch version, which is incredibly light for what it is. Plus, everything just works with no real gotchas. They are a machine you buy and just don't have to worry about. The cons are that their keyboard, just like prior years, feels noticeably low travel. The MacBook Pro's keyboards seem to have a couple of millimeters more travel, which makes them more comfortable to use. Plus, many premium Windows laptops have significantly more comfortable keyboards than these ones. Next, the screen's max refresh rate of 60Hz is a little dated in 2024. Many laptops now have faster refresh rate displays, which makes content moving on screen look smoother. The Airs are also limited to 2 USB-C ports, which are both on the left side. That means if your outlet is on the other side of the laptop, you'll have to run a cable around the back, which could get in your way. But my main issue with these laptops is their price. In 2024, no one should be buying a premium laptop for over $1,000 with only 8GB of memory and 256GB of storage. Most people buying a laptop keep it for several years, and a premium laptop like these should deliver a good experience throughout that time frame. Having this little memory will be restrictive of tasks that you can do on the laptop, and it will affect its resale value. That video editing example that I gave you earlier was on a 16GB of memory MacBook Air. You could only imagine how terrible it would have run if it was on an 8GB of memory machine. Now, when it comes to software development, I've seen a ton of YouTubers out there showing how you can run all the common software development tools and some professional coding environments on these 8GB of memory MacBook Airs. I find these videos a little disingenuous. Whether you can dev effectively with only 8GB of memory depends entirely on what you are deving. In my case, I wrote code that sat behind massive websites like the one you're watching right now. Websites that had to deal with huge amounts of data and large amounts of concurrent users. I also coded simulations for data analysis and wrote code that had to deal with image transformations. These tasks would be awful to run with 8GB of memory. Just remember, you can always code what you would have with 8GB with 16, but you can't the other way around. Anyway, to get a MacBook Air with what I would consider the minimum specs for a premium laptop in 2024, which is 16GB of memory and 512GB of storage, these are incredibly expensive. You are looking at $1,500 for the 13-inch version and $1,700 for the 15. So with that said, here's my take. These MacBook Airs with M3 are great choices if you're a student, a casual user browsing the web or doing office work, or you're a programmer doing coding that just isn't overly intensive. So long as you can afford to buy one with the minimum configuration that I just mentioned, and you don't mind that low travel keyboard. If you can't afford those minimum specs, rather than get a nerfed version with 8GB of memory, I'd recommend you buy last year's M2 Air upgraded with 16 and 512GB of storage instead. Either get it on a sale or from a refurbished store like Apple's, where you will still get warranty coverage on it. In the long run, the extra memory and storage will make more of a difference than the performance improvement of M2 to M3. If you can't afford the specs that I just mentioned and you don't have an option to get an M2 Air with 16GB of memory, then either you can buy an 8GB of memory model, knowing the risks and limitations, or, and I know this is heresy, you could buy a Windows laptop instead. Yes, there are people out there who actually buy Windows laptops and enjoy using them, particularly for the kind of tasks that these Airs excel at. The ThinkPad X1 Carbon is my premium pick. It is insanely lightweight, has a much more comfortable keyboard, a 14-inch OLED fast refresh rate display, and is known to regularly drop its price to around the same as the Airs. It is the laptop I would personally buy instead of an Air. If the ThinkPad X1 Carbon is too expensive though, the Spectre 14 has been fully redesigned this year and it is awesome. It offers 2-in-1 functionality, also has a fast refresh rate OLED display, and a much more comfortable keyboard. That being said, the Spectre does have a little bit of fan noise and its trackpad palm rejection isn't the best right now. The Spectre frequently goes on massive sales, so you'll get a lot more for your money with that one. Finally, if you're strapped for cash, our favorite Air competitor under $1,000 is the ZenBook 14 with AMD. It regularly goes on big sales and most come with 16GB of memory. Look, the ZenBook definitely isn't as high quality as an Air or the other two Windows laptops that I just mentioned, but it gives you 85% of them for a much cheaper price. Alright, that's all I got for you. All the laptops that I just went through are linked in the description and on our website. That's where we list all the laptops that we recommend for various types of users and where to go to get the best deals on them. Let's end with the YouTuber shtick. Smash the like button, get subscribed, and hit that notification bell. Not only does it show your support for the channel, which means that we can produce more videos for you, but it also makes my dearest mother very proud. Till next time, go do something awesome with your day, and I will catch you later.